Is there any one word that you would think to use when describing New Orleans?
One word? Fun. That's basically it. New Orleans is fun. I mean, at any point in time during the day, you can find where people gather, become friends, and become lifelong friends, period. At any moment, any second, anywhere. Plus, New Orleans is a small place, so there's always 2 degrees of separation between everybody. So somebody you meet today, I guarantee you meet them down the line again, guaranteed. But it's a great city for fun. Yes.
Is there anything that has happened in your life, either when you were a child or an adult, that epitomizes New Orleans, that really screams New Orleans?
I don't know, I can say one of my best memories was, speaking of 2 degrees of separation, I remember, I played in this little band. They got all the junior high school, the best band members together from the New Orleans public schools, and they formed a band called Adolescents, and we played at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Fest. Now I had a father that was a musician, he was a drummer. So, drummers make a lot of kids, right? My dad had a lot of kids that, he didn't necessarily take care of, right? So needless to say, I see my father every few years, but one of my best New Orleans experiences is he was also a Mardi Gras Indian. He also had his own band. But just as I was coming off the stage from Adolescence, and my father came from off another stage performing, that I hadn't seen him in about 4 years. Sure enough, we crossed paths, man, and it was the first time, sort of as a young adult, that I happened to see him. And man, we spent so much time together. We went down, because I think he was recording an album or something like that, man. We got together. I got to see him play music. I asked him a lot of questions that I had, that I didn't know about. But it was a great New Orleans experience that I happened to run into my father, who I hadn't seen for years, at the Jazz Festival. And we bonded as men at that point in time. So yes, that's the experience.
That's an amazing story.
Yes.
What do you think New Orleans will be like in 100 years?
Oh man, that is a tough one to say. If it wasn't for maybe this last administration and the hurricane, I would say New Orleans would pretty much stay the same. Third world country in a good way. Because it seems like poor people know how to have fun and make the most of the least things. If you ever go to the greatest countries around the world for entertainment and stuff, it's always some country that just doesn't have very much, but they know how to make the most of very little. So, I would say New Orleans would have probably stayed the same, but, it's gone to first world, so, man, it's really tough to say what New Orleans would be like. I hope it would still be the same small, big town, so to speak, you know what I mean? It's a small city, but it's a big city. It has small city charm, but it still has the big city amenities. So maybe to go in that direction. Hopefully it won't become like every other suburban place, like I see Mid-City becoming, that monstrosity thing right down the street, that apartment complex. I'm surprised they allowed it to be built. But unfortunately, I think New Orleans is going to change. Hopefully it won't lose too much of its culture and flavor because of the prices of housing and everything else, which New Orleans is slowly losing some of its best features and its best appeals, because what people will complain if a second line is going down the street in front of your house. I bought a house in Atlanta just because I heard some high school bands playing one another a block away. I bought that house because it reminded me of New Orleans, man. I heard music in the background. I said, this house has to be for us. So needless to say, I'm just hoping New Orleans doesn't lose all its culture to today's times and today's everything, because our culture is what makes us special, unique, and also our carefree ways, which makes us a great place, and the way we accept everyone for who they are. Plus, the more colorful, the more people seem to love you here in this city, right? Because in other places you can be offbeat and people look at you strange, but here we embrace strangeness. We embrace you being different, you being who you want to be, which is great, And plus, New Orleans has 24-hour bars, which I hope they never take that away, Yes.